And people like to work for people who are transparent and that they can identify with. And if you're an authoritarian or an authoritative type of sales manager, this might be a little bit of a stretch for you here because you probably don't want to admit that you're wrong. But trust me when I say it, when you actually do admit that you've made a mistake, then you actually do build a tremendous amount of rapport, but also trust with your salespeople, which keeps them wanting to work even harder for you, which is really our goal here, is you want to establish or reestablish a level of trust with your salespeople so that they go to the wall for you. They do the little extra things, that they make the little extra effort. That's the difference between mere goodness and greatness. Now, also, there's a downfall to this, because beware of making the same mistake over and over again. If you continue to say, oh, geez, I'm wrong, and you're always wrong, and you're always making mistakes, then you're also undermining your leadership. So if you do that, your sales reps will just think that you're just plain incompetent. So, that's not the direction that you want to go down here. But beware of taking this tip too far and making a big deal about admitting your mistakes, or maybe doing it more frequently than you need to. But sprinkle it in among one of your tools as a sales leader, and you will certainly not only build rapport, but you'll also build hefty deposits in the trust account. And our third technique here is, and this is awfully difficult to do at times because it's so hard with BlackBerries and iPhones and text messages and all the different ways in which you can get in contact with your salespeople. And if your company is a email-centric company, this is even more of a challenge. But if your company is leads through email, this is a way for you to really differentiate yourself and build a tremendous amount of trust in the process. So in a study performed in 2007, it was found that by year-end 2009, 41% of the time an employee spends on their job will be spent responding to email. And they said by the end of 2010, that will be up to 52%. So out of an 8-hour day, 4 hours of the average day is spent responding to email. With the portability and the ease of email, it's no wonder that this is the case, and especially it's very mobile now. As you have a handheld device, I'm sure you respond to emails constantly on the weekends, after hours, all these sorts of things. And I'm guilty of it. I totally admit it, because it's just so easy to anonymously pound out an email instead of dealing with the realities of actually talking to someone about a complex issue. So, it's just so safe, it's so efficient, you can do a lot, you're multitasking. But in the same way that this is a convenient technique, it's also a technique that undermines your leadership and your ability for your salespeople to trust you. So, establishing trust is a hard thing to do, and the only way that you communicate with your people is through your BlackBerry. So as an ambitious sales manager, or as an ambitious general manager who oversees a bunch of sales managers, it's critical for a sales manager to establish actual human contact with their reps. And they can't do this by email, no matter how human you make those emails to be. So with little smiley faces and emoticons and all that other kind of stuff that they put in there to personalize email. But to lead effectively, you need to just get in the grill of your sales force. Talk to them, understand their views, consider their solutions, and work together to take the right corrective course of action or the right strategic course of action. So to let you off the hook, you're probably responding to the majority of your emails either after normal working hours, and maybe you're squeezing them in between meetings and that kind of stuff when you have very little time. And in these cases, email is very handy. But I know there's plenty of times when you respond to maybe an initial email chain and you know that you should probably call. And in those cases, pick up the phone. If something tells you, geez, I should probably call, then that's an indication that you should call. And don't fall into the easy trap of just going into Outlook and responding to that email or blasting out a respond to all instead of actually talking to people individually, especially your salespeople. So get out in the field with your salespeople, get to know them, get to know their customers, and witness them firsthand in their environment, and do not lead by email, whatever you do. So pick up the phone and make that or establish that or reestablish that connection with your sales force. So just to review the 3 techniques to reestablish or establish trust with your salespeople. First off is to call them out of the clear blue and do what we call the crazy twist and ask them what they need. They'll fall over flat dead from shock, but that will be a very good desired effect. And do this intermittently when you have some time, especially with some of your salespeople and maybe on the underperforming side. This is a very effective technique to obviously establish trust, but also motivate. And number 2 is if you screw up, just admit it. People love working for other people that are transparent and real. And when you admit your mistakes, you become more real to them and you reinforce your sales leadership as well as you establish and reestablish trust, especially if it's lacking. And then lastly is to pick up the phone instead of trying to respond or lead through email. Not to lead through email, but pick up the phone and call people, especially when you're dealing with uncomfortable situations. So those are our 3 techniques to reestablish trust with your salespeople to supercharge your sales revenues. Now, for hundreds of other sales management techniques and strategies such as this one, you can find them in the Sales Management Mastery Academy, along with tons of done-for-you resources to help your sales managers achieve sales management success. To claim your free sales manager training inside the Sales Management Mastery Academy, including our most popular training of all time, How to Motivate Your Sales Team to Peak Performance, visit salestraininggift.com. That's it for this week's episode of Sales Management Mastery. And until next time, wishing you ultimate sales management success.
You've been listening to the sales management, motivational, and leadership training expert, Ralph Burns. Ralph invites you to discover the sales manager training secrets that will unleash a flood of new sales from your sales team. Visit salestraininggift.com and you'll get instant access to your choice of life-changing sales manager training techniques, only taught in the internationally acclaimed Sales Management Mastery Academy online community. Go now to salestraininggift.com. Sales Management Mastery.